Those born from 1946 to 1964 will increase twofold the number of people in the 65 plus age group by the year 2030. Of those who will be 65 years plus by the year 2030, more than 2/3 will not be people of color. And of course, not all of them will be women. Unless we can do more to educate the elderly on items of importance like benefits for women, the United States may see an uprise in the challenges that pertain to age and gender and race. In consideration of all these factors, there are really actually 3 positive steps we can take for restructuring Social Security that would help reduce poverty for women. Number 1, refine the qualifications for women's benefits. Allow for more income qualifications to be there that allow for minimum income coming in. Benefits should be annually matched against the cost of living adjustment, for instance. Then also possibly guaranteeing those benefits for life for certain recipients. Improving tax relief for benefits is another big example. Unless full tax relief is granted for these women, whose life expectancy, by the way, is longer than that of men, they're destined to live the rest of their lives being overtaxed by the benefits under the current program. Tax rebate should be available for women who outlive their spouses as well, since the benefits they're already surviving on have been taxed. And lastly, discontinuing the limitations on women's earnings between ages 62 and 67 is huge. Women who retire with less than adequate lifetime earnings cannot survive on Social Security alone. It's been proven. Women are focused to supplement and force their benefits into holding patterns because they have to continue working. Most women aged 62 to 67 realize the tax punishment for working even a minimal amount of time per year. It's extremely high. Congress can and should end all earnings limits and lift this major financial burden for men and women. Those who need it, need it. With these 3 steps, we can effectively change the outcome for millions of women and save them from a life of poverty in their elderly years. With more education and a willingness to get involved, these issues can be solved, and we can be sure of a more promising future for women on the politics of aging. Thank you very much.
Okay. I've got a couple of questions.
Yes.
Okay. First one, you had mentioned that there was a contingency that thought we'd be better off without Social Security. What is the basis of their stand or viewpoint?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. You've mentioned that there's a contingency out there that feels we'd be better off without Social Security. What's the basis of that judgment?
Well, there are a very limited number, and I stress limited. There are a select few individuals who believe that they don't need Social Security or that we as a public don't need Social Security or would be better off without it. Frankly, those individuals are financially independent people that don't really get affected by the limitations of Social Security in the first place.
Okay. Another question is, you had mentioned that there's, well, I should ask it this way. What is meant by not earning enough work credits?
Work credits are the number of years contributed to the system. If you're a if you're a homemaker, for instance, and you take 10 years off of work time to raise your children, those 10 years can actually count against you when you're in retirement and attempting to collect on your benefits.
You had also mentioned something about double jeopardy. Can you explain what you mean by the double jeopardy situation?
Sure. Women who are single mothers, for instance, they are in fact in a double jeopardy situation because not only can they, not collect Social Security benefits at time of retirement or are severely penalized for the amount they can collect because of the lack of number of years that they contributed during homemaker time years for them. But if they're divorced and they're having to manage a family and maintain all of the bills and the cost of living for a family of four, let's say, only on one income rather than two. It's a double jeopardy.
Okay, and the last question I had was, can you explain what you meant about credit for unpaid labor?
Credit for unpaid labor. Again, homemakers are not paid for their time, and it is a valid occupation. That's what unpaid labor is. It's working for no salary, working for no wage.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.